So today's video, I'm going to be talking about why we choose to do our homeschool year-round, and I'm also going to show you my calendar and how I schedule that out and how I plan my homeschool year and just my rough outline of what days we're going to be doing school and what days we aren't. Hi friends, welcome back to Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. My name is Davine and today I'm excited to continue with my planning our homeschool series that I've been working on. If you want to see the videos that I've put up in the past, I will link the playlist here and I will also put it in the description box below. But so far I have talked a little bit about how I plan out my subjects for the next school year, how I plan out my morning basket for the next school year. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the reasons why we choose to homeschool year-round. So we are going into our third year of homeschooling, and from the very beginning, we started with year-round homeschooling. One of the main reasons why we did that was when my kids were in public school, we sort of did that anyways. We always did some extra academic things in the summer. We always made sure that they kept fresh on their facts, and it just gives my kids something to do in the summer. I have a few kids who have some retention problems, and so doing things throughout the summer helps to prevent that summer slide that you might have heard about. Often at the beginning of a school year, teachers spend a month or more getting the kids back to where they might have been at the end of the school year. And so when my kids were in public school and now that we're homeschooling, we always tried to keep on top of their math facts and some language arts and things like that, their reading. And so that was always part of our schedule anyways. So when we started homeschooling, we didn't change that. We just have the opportunity to continue with our curriculum in the summer, which to me is way more fun and more productive than when we were just getting those summer workbooks and things like that. So that is one reason why we homeschool during the summer. Another reason why we homeschool during the summer is my family really thrives on some sort of structure. I like structure. My kids really, I have a few who really need structure and they need to kind of know what's happening next and kind of know what the day is going to be like. So when we are doing summer homeschool, it just provides a little more structure. We definitely don't do a full-on day. I generally try to keep the amount of work to an hour, hour and a half at most. We'll cover like a math, we'll cover a language arts, we might do something on the computer, and then they need to do their silent reading. Also, we do not do school the whole summer break. We generally take, I would say, between 8 and 9 weeks off for summer, and during those 8 to 9 weeks, they have about 16 days of school that we schedule. So that's like 4-4-day weeks. And they don't always have to be that entire week, but if we're home and we're not traveling, we're not doing something else, then generally we will just say this week is going to be a summer school week. We will complete the work of one of the weeks that I have scheduled. If you want to see more details about how I schedule our summer school, I did put up a video recently, so I'll link that here and you can check out kind of how I determine what we're doing and how I organize that for the summer. Another reason why we choose to school in the summer is I prefer to have shorter periods of work with more frequent breaks throughout the school year. So I want to have the flexibility and the option of taking time off throughout the school year. I don't want to follow a public school schedule. I don't want to have to take breaks when they are taking breaks. I want to do school when we are feeling up for school, and I want to be able to take a day or two or a week off when we feel like we want to take a week off. So sometimes we take just random days off, or maybe we'll take extra days around Thanksgiving. We always take more than 2 weeks off at Christmas, and we just kind of go with what feels right during that time. I will show you that I do have a schedule, and I do schedule out our weeks of school, but I try to leave enough leeway in there for us to take some extra breaks. One of the things that I talked about in my year-end update or overview review, and I'll link that here if you're interested in seeing that, but one thing that I realized is I need an extra 2 days off a month just to be able to focus on my work and my business so that I don't get overwhelmed and I don't feel like I'm at burnout or at breaking point. So with a year-round homeschool, I can decide that I'm going to take 2 days off a month just for me to be able to catch up on all the things that I feel get kind of put on the back burner. And so that's just one of the benefits of year-round homeschooling. Another reason why we school year-round is I would prefer to do shorter lessons and have shorter school days whenever we do school instead of trying to pack in more to a day and having longer school days. So we can have slightly shorter, I won't say much shorter, but we can have slightly shorter school days when we have more days to spread the work out. So I don't have to feel pressure when I have that 36-week curriculum that has daily lessons. I don't have to feel as much pressure to make sure we do a lesson every single day and that we do a complete lesson every single day. I know that I have the summer that we can finish off things that we need to finish off on. And I also don't feel like I have to start and stop our curriculum at a certain time. I do try to have a lot of new and fresh things in the beginning of a new school year, which for us is around mid-August, just to have that new, fresh school. However, if we have to continue with the curriculum into the school year, I don't worry too much about that. As long as we are keeping pace and my kids are learning and growing at their speed, then I'm very happy with what we're doing. Another reason why we homeschool year-round is I don't want to feel like we have to do 5-day weeks whenever we're doing school. I will actually schedule more of a 4-day week, and that 5th day is usually something with our church co-op or something like that, and it's a catch-up day. So when I'm scheduling out my kids' work, I also very rarely will schedule even 4 days of anything. Maybe math, they might have 4 days scheduled, but often we will have 3 days scheduled of a certain subject, and I'm just I don't want to be scheduling everything every day. So 4 is almost our max. We did have to do 5 days a week of math towards the end of the school year because we had some interruptions with that interrupted math, and I do want to finish their math levels because I think that's really important. But in general, I won't schedule more than 4 days a week of any subject. And if we can't finish those 4 days, then we do some stuff on the 5th day. But nothing is officially scheduled for that 5th day other than a co-op or something like that. And the last reason why we like year-round homeschooling, I kind of referred to this, is there's less pressure to finish a curriculum within that year. When you're just homeschooling during the year and then you're doing stuff in the summer, it just feels very natural to continue that curriculum into the new school year if that's something you feel like doing. I also don't feel like I have to finish the curriculum by June. I don't mind having some things in the summer to do that are valuable and important. So when we don't finish our math curriculum for the year, I actually take that as a plus. We get to keep working on the math throughout the summer. And if we don't finish our language arts, that's great. I can schedule that in the summer and they can keep those skills up. So I just feel like year-round homeschooling for us takes the pressure off of trying to finish things, trying to fit things into a certain schedule. Of course, every family is different. For some families, they would not want to year-round homeschool. Why would you want to do school in the middle of summer? Maybe they do a lot of outings, maybe they go a lot of places, maybe their kids are very active and you had lots to do, then you wouldn't want to do year-round schooling. But for me, I'd rather do those shorter days and then have those short days in the summer where my kids can continue to be actively pursuing in the academic areas, and it just gives them something to do on some of those summer days where they don't necessarily know what to do all the time. All right, now I'm going to get onto my computer and I'm going to show you how I use my Google Calendar and how I kind of decide on what we're doing, when we're doing, in a very informal way. It tells me when I want to start officially our school year and gives me a rough idea of when we're going to be ending my school year. So I kind of line it up, but just to let you know, I do not follow it 100%, and I will talk more about it as I show you on the computer. So let's just take a look at that. All right, so here we are in my favorite planner. I love to use Google Docs, Google spreadsheets, and things like that for my planning. So I just have a bunch of calendars here
on the side. And right now I have our homeschool clicked, so I don't see all of our other things. I have my own calendar, I have some reminders, I have our parent partnership program calendar. So I have a bunch of calendars here, and the one I'm just going to do right now is our homeschool planner. So normally I like to start our first week, I would say around the 15th of August. However, we have a wedding late in July, and then we're going to California sometime in August. So we're not going to be able to start as early as I would like. So we're actually starting about 2 weeks later than I would like. Now I shoot for 36 weeks of homeschool, regular homeschool, and then I like to do about 4 weeks of the summer school, more of a lighter load. And that's just what I'm aiming for. Sometimes I do more. I'm guessing this year I might do a little bit less than the 36 weeks. But that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to open my calendar and I'm going to schedule out my homeschool weeks. I always organize our homeschool weeks in 3 12-week terms and then that one 4-week kind of summer term. We do a semi-Sabbath homeschool style. So I like the idea of 6 weeks on, 1 week off, 6 weeks on, 1 week off. But I also like to think of my planning in chunks of 12 weeks. I just really like that time frame. So I really want my 12 weeks to be done by Thanksgiving. So preferably, I would be able to say this whole week is off Thanksgiving week, and that would be our 12-week term break. But it's not going to happen because we're starting later in the school year. So I kind of count back from that. So I have 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that is the earliest I can start because of our plans this summer. And normally, if we started on the 15th, we would just have more wiggle room in there, more times to take off. So even though I call this a week of homeschooling, it doesn't mean we won't take a day off here or there. We do make up days. We have weeks where I just do an extra week of school or I do extra days of school and I don't call it a week of school. So if we take a day off here or there, it's not a big deal. So I did mention that one of the things that I needed to do for myself, for my business, to keep myself from being overwhelmed, is I was planning on taking the first Monday and Tuesday of every month off just for myself, for my sanity, for my business, for planning, just to give myself some breathing room to do all the extra stuff around the house that I don't get to. So I am going to put that there. So it says week 2, but we are really only going to do 3 days here. And like I said, I generally overplan our weeks. When I did a week like this, I wouldn't even call it a week when I only had 3 days. But I have to try something new in this upcoming school year to just try to avoid burnout. So I'm giving this a try. So we're calling this week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, and here's our no school. And as you can see, that's around the 6th week of school, and that's a great time to be able to take a small break. I feel like 4 or 5 weeks of school and it's time for a break. So this will give us a nice break, just having those 2 days off. I don't feel like 3-day school weeks are a challenge for us. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and here is once again our no school because I need it towards the beginning of the month, week 12. And then here are 2 sort of makeup days for week 12. I know we don't need all of Thanksgiving week off. I do like to take the Wednesday off, so I think that'll work for that. That will be our makeup days for a few of the days that we've taken off. So then I'm going to go from November. So week 1, term 2, week 1, 2, 3, school's off. And I don't generally start school on the first day back. My husband does go back to work because he works in the school district. So he will go back to work, but we are generally just getting back from maybe California or something like that. So I'm not going to start on that first day. I may start on Wednesday. This is kind of flexible. So you can see I call this week 4A, and then here's week 4, the actual week 4. So this is just bonus days if we can get some things in there. Then we have term 2, week 5, week 6, and then I'm just going to keep going with that. And I'm going to term 2, week 6, and I like it to be purple. And I'm just going to keep going like that, adding in the 2 days without school. I'm going to show you what I come up with as I get through all the weeks and show you where we end up as far as where we're going to end this school year. So I'm just going to pause it here and I'm going to do that. I'll come back and talk about what I did with the rest of this here. Okay, so I went through and I filled in all the rest of the weeks. So this is what my schedule is looking like for the school year. So I'm counting this as week 4A, And then week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. I'm calling this as 8 because when I got to the end of my school year, I know we can't go into really too far into June without my kids feeling pretty upset about all the other kids being out of school. So I'm counting this really short week as just week 8, and I have no school the first 2 days. Week 9, week 10, week 11, and week 12A, and I have no school here. So this one, I'm adding some extra days, as you can see. So that makes up for the days when we lose out on some days. So 12, and then term 3, week 1, week 2. No school here because that is our spring break, and we do often do things on that break. 3, 4, 5, 6. Another week here where it's extra long. So if we do school or not, it doesn't matter. It just gives us some kind of extra buffer days if we need them. 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, and 12. So this is about where I would like to end our school year at the very latest. I could go into this week if I needed to, but I'm pretty sure most of the kids around here will get out of school around here. So that is why I don't want to go too much longer than that. Now, so in the summer, I don't really plan out when I'm going to do school in the summer, but generally this is what we have. We'll have about a week or 2 in June off. We'll have all of July off, and we'll have about the first 2 weeks of August off. And during those times, I will plan 16 days of school, very short school days, so about an hour to an hour and a half of either math, language arts, and some reading, and I give my kids a checklist. And then hopefully, ideally, I would be starting school again in, let's say, about this week, probably half a week there and just slowly get longer. That's how I like to start out the new school year, with those short weeks and longer, but I couldn't do it this year just because of our plans and how late into the summer they were going this year.
All right, so that is why we homeschool year round. That is how we homeschool year round, and that is how I set up my schedule on my Google Calendar. I hope that was helpful if you're wondering about homeschooling and if you want to try year round or if you want to follow a more traditional school schedule. I hope that gives you some ideas on why you may want to decide to homeschool year round. And if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified of when my next planning video is coming up. I'm going to be talking about how I plan everything for the upcoming school year, and I'm going to show you the details of how I just organize myself to get ready for the new year. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, please stick around. I also want to let you know that because I'm doing this planning series, I am going to be including a 30% off coupon at the bottom of this video. Just check out my Etsy store. I have planners, I have chore charts, visual schedules for kids, I have Bible study journals, I have just a bunch of printable items in my Etsy shop, and I want to give you 30% off if that's something you're interested in using. So if you are interested in a printable homeschool planner, I have ones that are editable and ones that aren't. Do check out the description box below and find that coupon, and you can use it at my Etsy shop. So thanks for coming today, and I hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye, everyone.